Thank you very much for joining this workshop. This is going to be hopefully 1 hour 45 minutes or maybe a 2 hours workshop. And it's going to be hands-on, meaning that we will have to try it out ourselves, whatever we are going to learn. Oh, I'm Fortune, and like they've already introduced. I'm one of the coordinators for the Rising Scholars National Research of Nigeria. We were previously called Authorhead. So we'll do a little of introduction to data analytics, I'll call it that, and why it's important in data-informed decision-making. And we'll look at the HPSS interface. We'll look at how to clean multiple choice response data with Excel, how to analyze multiple choice response data, and how to interpret them. Then we'll take some questions. And then we'll do a fully practical hands-on activity, meaning that we will be doing it together while I'm doing, and we are also doing it as well. So, but before I continue, please, I want to be sure that we've all installed I want to be sure that we've all installed the SPSS, excuse me, and we've been able to access the data file. So I'll just check the chat box to know if there are any feedback regarding the SPSS installation. But I believe it should be very, very simple and straightforward. It's just like a click and run kind of program. Please let me know in the chat box if you've been able to install the SPSS, and okay, great. And if you've accessed the data file. Okay, so there are lots of yes. Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. Really, I'm really happy to see that. Great. All right. So before we continue, or before we start, I would like to share this personal quote. It says that without statistics, every other thing is noise. Meaning that we need statistics to actually prove that a particular thing is true, or a particular thing is worth stressing for, it's worth doing. Statistics or data analysis is a part of data analytics. Data analytics is a more comprehensive way of approaching statistics, because it starts from the conceptualization, the data collection, the data analysis itself, and the use of the data for data-driven decision-making, or what is also called evidence-informed decision-making. So data analysis is a step in the data analytics process. So data-driven decision-making is the process of using data to inform decision-making or validate a course of action before committing to it. It refers to the process and practice of analyzing the data to extract insight and identify trends. So the goal of analytics is to extract insights that an organization can use to inform policies or make decisions. Okay, great. So if you have a spaces already, it's fantastic, you can use it. I mean, if you have a more updated version, it's even better. There are 4 types of data analytics. We have descriptive analytics, tells us what happened. We have diagnostic analytics, tells us why it happened. And then we have predictive analysis, which tells us what could happen in the future. And prescriptive analytics tells us what we should do, maybe in preparation for what would happen in the future. So briefly look at 4 of them, but we'll spend a little time talking about descriptive statistics and, of course, how to analyze multiple choice responses. Descriptive statistics, it focuses on summarizing past data to understand and explain events that have already occurred. So example of descriptive statistics is just, say, analyzing data to understand how many people in Nigeria are living with HIV in 2025. So it could be analyzing data to understand anything. Maybe understanding the impact of climate change, or understanding the literacy rates in Nigeria or in Lagos or wherever. Diagnostic analytics, on the other hand, goes beyond this, and it tells us the underlying reasons why a particular thing is the way it is. So, for example, building on the HIV example, sorry, I have to use HIV because I have a medical background. Diagnostic analytics will want to know or why the prevalence of HIV has increased or decreased in 2025 compared to 2024. So while descriptive statistics or analytics is about the why, diagnostic analytics is about, sorry, while descriptive statistics is about the what, diagnostic statistics is about the why. So predictive analysis or statistics, permit me to call it statistics is easier for me to pronounce that. It tells us what could happen in the future. I mean, given what we have seen in the past and what we have seen in the present, what could possibly happen in the future. So, for example, if we use past data to predict the number of people who live with HIV in 2026, that's a predictive analysis. So maybe we could use the current prevalence of HIV, let's say Nigeria, for example, maybe age, we use gender, putting so many things together, we can predict the number of people who may have HIV in Nigeria in 2026. So prescriptive statistics, it's the last it's the last question that says, okay, what should we do? Let's say we've seen what will happen in the future. So what should we do? How can we prepare for that future? What's the best strategy? Excuse me. What's the best strategy among different possible options? What's the best strategy we could explore to, prepare for the future? So, for example, using data to predict the best strategy for reducing HIV prevalence. So let's say there are so many policies, there are so many actions in place to reduce the prevalence of HIV in 2026. So prescriptive analytics answers the question, which of this strategy, which of these option is the best option? So we'll talk a little about descriptive statistics, and then we go on to discussing multiple choice responses, because essentially multiple choice response is a type of descriptive statistics. So yeah, like we said before, descriptive statistics involve describing, from the word descriptive, it describes the data from a selected sample. So if you look at this image by my right or by your right, it's an image of a dog, and I could ask you to describe this dog. Could somebody just or anybody just respond in the chat box? What description would you give this dog? Just going to take a couple of responses. There's a dog on the screen. How would you describe the dog? Sad. Okay. Sad. Old, sad. Okay. What about the color? What about, yes, an albino? Yeah, it's sick. White, brown spot. That's interesting. It's hungry. It's hungry. That is, I could even say that's 2 years. I mean, it has two eyes and whatever. So that's essentially what descriptive statistic does. So it picks a sample out of a population and describes how that sample how they are distributed, what is their characteristics. For example, let me use something in the medical background. Let's say we want to understand the prevalence of, I should use HIV. Okay, let's use the attendees of this session. So we want to understand we want to describe the attendees of this session. We could choose to describe by the gender. We say, okay, they are more female than male. Okay, let's say 70% are male, or sorry, female. The other 30% are female. Let's say the majority have a PhD, or majority are undergraduates. So anything that helps you describe your data. In fact, the total number of people that are currently on call is a type of descriptive statistic. We say over 100 people or 181 people on call. So it's all a form of descriptive statistics. So it involves choosing a sample of groups that you're interested in, and then tell us about it, describe it. And then there's a way we describe it. We use what we call summary statistics to describe its properties. So these properties of this sample that we have picked, let's say out of all the people that registered for this session, about over 1,000, let's say 183 are currently on call. So 183 becomes a sample out of the population. So we can use this 183 to understand how the total number of persons who registered for the session look like. So let's say if on call we have 50% male, 50% female, then we could maybe to an extent extrapolate that to the total number of people that registered for the session. So these characteristics that we use, excuse me, the characteristics that we use in describing our sample usually called variables. We call them variables in statistics. And so the examples of variables, like I mentioned, are gender, temperature, height, serum blood glucose, let's place of residence, let's educational qualification, whatever you use to describe a person. It's like somebody telling you to, tell me about yourself, tell me about your interests, tell me about your favorite food. So all those things are a form of descriptive statistics. So we can summarize descriptive statistics in several ways. First is we can do a tabular summary where we look at the frequency, we look at the number of cases. For example, if we are summarizing gender, which is a categorical variable, we'll talk about that shortly. We want to know how many males, how many females, and we can put that. And we can put that in a table to know how many males we have, how many females we have. We could also do a graph. I mean, it's very easy, or it's easier to understand graphs than numbers, because from the graph, we could see that maybe, for example, the column for female is higher than the column for male. We could already tell that there are more males than female. Now, if we have numerical summaries, or if we want to make numerical summaries, there are two ways to do that. We could do a measure of central tendency, like mean, median, and mode, to understand how the variables are clustered together. And then we could do a measure of dispersion, or measure of variability. So let me look for an highlighter. Not able to. Sorry, I need an highlighter. Okay, think of sense. Great, good. Good. So we could do a measure of variability to know how the data are different from each other. But since this is not the focus of the session, I'm just going to go ahead. For example of measures of variability are the standard deviation, variance, range, interquartile range, and so on and so forth. So it's very important for us to understand types of variables in statistics. Variables, you could also say types of data. We said that the characteristics of our sample are called variables. They're also called data. So they can be broadly divided into two. Sorry, my system is angry. It could be, sorry about that. My system is hanging. They could be broadly divided into two, and one is quantitative, the other is qualitative. So you can see it in this chart. We have quantitative variables and qualitative variables. So let me check the chat box in case I have a question. No, okay. So for quantitative variables, they could be divided into two. We have continuous variables and we have discrete variables. So continuous variables are any imaginable number. They could take any numerical value. For example, if you are, again, I'm using an example from the healthcare background. If you're checking hemoglobin levels of your respondents or your chosen population or your chosen sample, sorry, it could take any value. It could be 12.5, it could be 11.5, 11.7. So a continuous variable is a variable that can take any numerical value. It's not fixed numerical value. It could take, it's continuous. So it could be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and it's valid. So please, I want us to give me other examples of continuous variables in your own field. Variables that could be measured, and they could take any numerical value. Just gonna take height. Okay, great. So height, you can have like 5.7 maybe centimeters. I don't know. Blood glucose level, very correct. Temperature, yes. Temperature, you can have 36.5 degrees Celsius. BMR, yes, you can have maybe 30.3. I think this class is tilted towards medics and healthcare people. So because these are all medical parameters, PCV, creatinine value, these are all medical parameters. Okay, but for discrete data, they are also numerical data, but they take specific numerical values. For example, age. Age is considered a discrete data because let me say age in years is considered a discrete data because you cannot have somebody who is 21.5 years. Although to an extent, we could say, okay, maybe the person is 21 years and 5 months, but it doesn't really, it's not really accepted in statistics. So it's often recommended that it's rounded to the nearest whole number. So discrete data are whole numbers, essentially data that should be collected as whole numbers. So again, I'd like to check other examples of discrete data in your field. Great, fantastic number of children. So you cannot have 2.5 children. You always have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parity. That's how many times you've given birth. It can be 1.5. It can be 1.5. It can be 1.3. Exactly. So number of participants, number of people that are currently attending this session cannot be 30.5. It has to be 208 and maybe 200, 300. So very fantastic. So the other type of data or variable are qualitative variables or quantitative data. Now, it also divided into two. You have nominal and ordinal. Now, nominal data take they are non-numeric category. They are also called, of course, they're a form of categorical data. So it's essentially a way of categorizing your data into 2, 3, 4, 5 groups, and so on and so forth. So where it differs from ordinal data is that in nominal data, there is no hierarchy of the data. Nobody's higher, nobody's bigger than anybody. They are all at the same level, but belonging to different categories. So example is gender, awareness of COVID-19 vaccine. It's either you're aware or you're not aware. Gender is either you're male or female. Please, I'd like to get other examples of nominal data. Okay, I think I've seen one. Um, Academic qualification. Yeah, yes, academic qualification. Where are you from? Yes, your country. Okay. Tribe. Fantastic. Yes, you could be poor, you could be rich, you could be a tribe, you could be Igbo, you could be Hausa, but okay, race, you could be black, you could be white, and so on and so forth. Fantastic. But then in ordinal data is also a type of categorical variable, but in ordinal data, everybody's not equal. Like George Orwell said, all humans, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. So in ordinal data, some animals are more equal than others. So some are higher than others. So there's a grading, there's a staircase. There is there is an order of the categorization. So we have some people that will be very high up there and some people that will be very low. So for example, perception of monkeypox virus. Let's say we are asking people, do you agree that monkeypox is a threat in Nigeria? You could of course collect a nominal data by saying yes or no, I agree, I don't agree. But it's better you collect the data as ordinal because you can really know what people really think. You can get the strength of people's emotions or people's reactions for that particular question. So you have people who will tell you they strongly agree, and people will tell you that they agree. So we cannot say that strongly agree and agree are of the same strength. Definitely, people who strongly agree have a higher strength of maybe emotions or belief system or knowledge about that particular thing you're measuring than people who simply agree. So if you want to collect data to check the strength of maybe people's emotions or people's knowledge, then you might want to consider an ordinal data. Because one might believe, but not believe as much as the other person. It's usually ordinal data that can tell the difference. So I'd like to get other examples of ordinal data in the chat box, please. Ordinal grades. Okay, yes. We can have first class, we can have second class, we can have third class. Ordinal, yes, ordinal data are Likert scales. Level of satisfaction, we can have people that are very satisfied, somewhat satisfied, they are neutral, and then they are not satisfied. Comprehensive strength of concrete. So I believe you have concrete that is really strong and the ones that are not so strong. Level of pain, and so on and so forth. So what we are really interested in for today's class, or I mean for today's session, is multiple choice responses. Let's say you are designing a research, you're really interested in knowing what type of statistical software that is mostly used. So you have a simple research question that says, what is the most used statistical analysis software? And you know for sure that people might have more than one preference. They might be using more than one statistical software. So making this a one answer variable would be a wrong move, and of course would not give you what you're looking for. So it's important that you allow people to choose more than one, because of course they use more than one. Or let's say you want to know the most interesting statistical analysis topic. People don't have one interesting topic. They don't have one preference. They might have more than one. So you give them that freedom to choose more than one. So the point of multiple choice is to cater for more than one interest, more than one correct option, more than one used product. For example, you're designing you're, you're leading a company, you're designing a product, and you want to see how different products fit in the market, what people preferences are, which one they prefer most. So it's good for you to allow them to choose as many products as possible, and then you analyze the data, and then you can know which product is likely to fare more in the market. So let's say to answer these research questions, you ask these two questions. Which or what statistical software have you used before? Tick all that applies. And then you ask, what is your preferred statistical data analysis topics? Tick all that applies. Now, there are different softwares we could use for statistical analysis, or we could use to answer this question. You could use SPSS, you could use Excel, excuse me. Sorry, my system is just actually. So let's check the chat box if they have question. Okay, somebody says self-esteem. Yeah, self-esteem is also cardinal data. Yes, we have SPSS, Excel, or Python. So please, could you let me know in the chat box which statistical software you use that is all covered here? I can see GraphPad already. I have SPSS, Excel, Python. So you tell me which software you use that is not covered here. SATA, yes, SATA is a very, very popular. AppInfo is popular. Origin Pro, I don't know about that. MATLAB, Power BI. Yes, Power BI. Okay, so these are all very fantastic recommendations. So I would recommend that we check the chat box and see what people are recommending. I mean, because beyond these softwares, there are lots of other softwares that one could leverage on and could give you the desired result. So for analyzing multiple choice response, for me, my preference are SPSS and Excel. I always combine the two of them more often than not in all analysis. Because I like to do the cleaning with Excel. It's very easy for me to clean with Excel. I like to do analysis with SPSS. I like to do interpretation with SPSS. I forgot to add one more thing, visualization. I love to do visualization with Excel because I think Excel is much, I mean, for me, I think it gives better results when you're visualizing your data than SPSS. So you see, it's possible to combine more than one statistical analysis software. So what we are going to do today is we're going to learn how to clean the data, transform the data, and put it in SPSS for our multiple choice response analysis. So I shared the data with us that we're using for the practice, but I will be using a different data at the moment for the demonstrations, and then when it's time for the practice, of course, we would use the data I shared. So we're supposed to move into overview of the SPSS interface, but I'd like to put that for later once we're done with Excel. So the thing about multiple choice responses is that if you're collecting your data with Google Forms or Kobo Collect or all these data collection tools, and you're downloading the responses, you realize that this is how the data is stored, or this is how the data is presented. So for example, Fortune is the first respondent, and it uses SPSS, R, and Stata. This is how it's going to be recorded for me as the first respondent. And then we have the next respondent who picks SPSS and Stata. It's going to be recorded SPSS semicolon Stata. So you cannot import this or copy and paste this in SPSS. It's not going to analyze. This is not the form that SPSS analyzes data. So we have to do what we call data transformation and coding. We have to transform the data into a dichotomous format. Dichotomous means two groups, either a yes or a no. Example is dichotomous data is an example of nominal data. So we have to transform the data to this form, like we can see in the right corner of the screen. Each of the software would have a column on its own, or each of the software will be a variable on its own. We can see SPSS, Excel are all being variables on their own, and this is only for that you can analyze the data with SPSS. And this is a formula that we use. I will talk about this formula when we get to Excel, and talk about all this when we get to Excel. So this is how it's going to look like. So I just made this slide For those who would not be able to watch the recording and the practice, I believe if they follow these procedures, they should be able to get the same result, because this is how it should look like. And yeah, so we're going to do a demo now to see how we can do this. So I don't know if there's any question. I could take one or two before we do the demos. Unable to get the data. Data was shared via email, so maybe we did not register on time. All right, so since there's no question, I'm just going to share my Excel. Sorry if you didn't get the data. See if we can send it to the chat box. Please could you let me know if you can see my screen?
Yes, it is there.
Okay. Oh, okay. I think some people are saying they didn't get the data. Please, does anybody here have the data? Could you please confirm? Not this particular data, but the in the email we send, there is a data. We attach the email. So please, could you let me know if you received? Okay, yes, somebody received it. Okay, so there are a couple of positive responses. So maybe you could check your email again, unless you didn't register before.
Yes, we have received it through our email.
Right, great, fantastic. All right, so this is when you, this is your data coming from, I think let me try to zoom in a little bit. This is your data coming from maybe your Google form, or if it was physical responses, maybe this is how it was entered. Usually, if you this is gotten from Google form. This is the registration form. The first, I think, 100 responses from the registration form I will be using. So there's something I have done to these data before now. It's only one thing I've done. You see, we asked people what their preferred statistical topics are or were, and we told them to take all that applies. And then we indicated an option that says other, meaning they could type in other, softwares, or sorry, topics that are not here. We listed descriptive statistics, inferential statistics, and regression. So these are the topics that we listed: descriptive statistics, inferential statistics, regression, and other. But the thing is that where someone has other topics, the person will have to impute it here, let's say correlation, analysis, whatever. So you see, it has to be clean. So there's an initial cleaning process that you have to do by converting all the other options they have given to other. Now, I have been looking for an automatic way of doing that particular thing, but I've not been lucky to find it. And unfortunately, the only way out I know is to do it manually, to, manually examine the data for other options, and then using the control find option. Let's say, for example, this person took correlation analysis, and we want all correlation analysis or any other responses other than these three to be categorized as other. So what you need to do simply is to just...
Why didn't you work with Is
there a question? No question.
Mute everybody and unmute the speaker, please.
All right, so we place cursor. So this is Excel. I may not be doing the basics because I think we're very, very familiar with Excel. But otherwise, I mean, it's not that complicated. It's actually very simple to work with. And if there's anything I need to provide clarification, and I'll be happy to do that. So first thing is that you might want to expand your data set, expand a particular column. If you want to expand a column to see all the responses that are there, you pick your cursor. I'm just going to zoom this. Don't know how far I can zoom. Okay, good. So you pick this is your cursor. You take it to I'll call it the boundary between the A and B color, and you double click. Once you double click, it's expanded, meaning that it can accommodate any number of variables that this thing can not really accommodate. It will display any number of variables that this column would can display. And it's important because it helps you see all the variables, all the possible variables that are here, especially for a multiple choice response. So let's say we want to change the correlation analysis to other. So we put our cursor here, click on it, and then Control F, find correlation analysis, replace it with other. Then you click on replace all, and it has made a replacement. So let's say you've done that cleaning and this is what you have. So remember that, just a minute, I need to go back to my slide. We said that if you pick this data like this to SPSS, it cannot analyze it. So you have to create separate variables for them. Each of the options should be a variable on its own. And then you should indicate one if the person, this is the first respondent. These are all the options to choose. You should indicate one if this respondent chooses descriptive statistics. You should indicate 0 if the respondent does not take that variable. And that's how it should be coded. But you see, if you have to do this manually, imagine doing this manually, you're first very likely to make mistakes. And second, it's going to take a lot of time. And let's say you have over, this is just 100. Let's say you have over 1,000 data, 3,000, 5,000 data as the case may be. So it's a lot of work to manually do that for all the respondents. And let's say you have more than one tick that applies in a data set to analyze. So it's a lot of work to do that. So thankfully, Excel has a formula to just automatically do that. So I've put the formula in the slide. I'm going to put it in the chat box when we have to do the practical. So the formula is equals to if error. I'll explain the formula. If and then find, or you're telling Excel find descriptive statistics. Put a $sign after the B, put a comma, and then put a $sign before the A, and then close brackets. Oh, sorry, I am missing, sorry, 0. Right. Sorry, just going to give me a sec. I'm just going to share the formula in the chat box now. I just made a mistake in parentheses, and I think it's just easy for me to do a copy and paste so that I don't take so much time. Share it again. So there's a formula. I'm just going to do a copy and paste. This is actually a formula. So if you check this box, I'm trying to zoom in, but I think I've reached my maximum zoom level. This is a formula up here. It says equals to if error, if find, well, what this essentially means is that you should find descriptive statistics. You're telling Excel to find descriptive statistics in this row. And if it finds descriptive statistics, it should record it as 1. But if it doesn't find descriptive statistics, it should record it as 0. So that's just what this formula is saying. So what you do, the good thing about Excel, you don't need to repeat this formula in the other rows or columns. You just need to use the fill-in box, drag it, and then you put it here. And then you see it's all 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, meaning that this person took all of our possible all our possible variables. So what you need to do now is to drag the formula down to cover the number of responses you have. I think I have 100 and I think 102. All right. Yeah. Oh, I see. It's great. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to share the data set with us, and we're going to do this practically. I want to check the chat box if there's any question. Okay, no. So you see, Excel has done that automatically for us. So for example, the first person took all the possible options, but the second person took descriptive statistics, inferential statistics, regression, and then all that. So this is a form that you can take to SPSS, and this is a form that SPSS understands. So we're going to do that now. Going to highlight. There are two things. You could import this data directly into SPSS, or you could do a copy and paste. I'll do a copy and paste. Maybe I'll do importation with the other practice. So I'm going to copy everything here, and I just hope my screen is showing. So this is SPSS. SPSS is very simple. Okay, let me assume that we are not able to come to this point. So I'm just going to share my entire screen now because I want to start the SPSS from the scratch. Do you want to proceed? Yes. No. So this is for my SPSS. Okay. So once you click on the SPSS, it takes a few seconds to load. This is it. Please, can you see the SPSS screen? Please, can you see? Okay, yeah, I'll post the formula. Thank you. Please, can you see the SPSS screen? Okay, great. So this is what happens when you're opening SPSS for the first time. So you see, it's asking you if you want to open an existing data source. You know, these are the previous data I've done with SPSS. So it's asking me if I want to open any of them. No. Now it's asking me if I want to open a different data file, because you see, these data sources are there are different SPSS can open different data sources. You see, it can open XLX SX, it can open SAV, which is like the SPSS format. XLX SX is Excel format. It can ask you if you want to open other data types. But we want to start from the scratch. So we take the option type in data. So if you're using more recent versions of SPSS, it might be a little bit different. So you click OK. This is where it takes you to. The SPSS has two views. I think I like to zoom in. It's not working. It has two views. You have data view and you have variable view. So where we impute the data is in the data view. So I copy the data. I'm just going to paste them here. And this is the data I copied. So you can see it's presenting as 1 and 0. Now the variable view is where you manipulate the data. Now you see we have brought in 4 variables. And we have to name them because we are not directly importing. We've lost the title or the naming. So we go to the variable view, and where we have name, we say descriptive. Just click on it. Now SPSS doesn't accept space. So if I say descriptive statistics, it's going to tell me variable name contains an illegal character. So 2 things you could do. You could type it without a space, or you could type it using an underscore. I think this is inferential starts, and this is regression, and this is all that. Now, when you have type, this is a variable view. This is more like the back end way of manipulating your data. Whatever you do at the back end affects the the data view. It's like saying that whatever happens in the spiritual affect the physical. So the data view is the physical, and then the variable view is the spiritual. So under data type, you can choose if your data is numeric, if it's a number, if it's a string, that's if it's an alphabet. So we all have the data are all numeric data. Sorry. You can adjust the width. This is unnecessary, but you could change the decimal places if you want. 0 unnecessary. Then the label, sometimes in a name, you may not be able to, put the full description of what you're looking for, because if you try to make it too long, it doesn't look so nice. So you might want to describe it more. This is descriptive statistics, and this is inferential statistics. So it's a way of further describing your data for data that might need further description. I don't want to use it. Now, in where you have values is where you tell spaces the meaning of your code. Remember that we are using 1 and 0 as a coding, and that's essentially how we do the majority of analysis with spaces. So where you have to interpret that code is in the value section of the variable view. When you have values, you click, let's say 1, our 1, we're telling spaces, it means that the person selected, and 0 means a person not selected. I have to do that for all the values. 1, selected, not selected. We're going to do this shortly in the next one. So just 1 selected, then 0 not selected. We'll see how this appears in the data view. Selected, and then 0 not selected. So you could say your 1 is yes, your 0 is no, however you want to call it. So missing is, I mean, if you have, if you're working with security data like demographic health surveys, you usually see that they quote the missing data as -99. So it's usually when you have missing data and you want to code it. And then this is the number of columns you want, and this is how you want it to be aligned. And this is the measure, is it scale, ordinal, or nominal? Those are the most important thing, changing the values and just the name. The other things are not so important or necessary. So you can see that once you come back to data view and you click the value labels, you can see it changes the 1 and 0 into something that we appreciate more, selected and not selected. So if you're doing the analysis, the output you'll be receiving or you'll be seeing, I think somebody's using this writing on my screen. So if you do the analysis, the output you'll be seeing wouldn't be giving you 1 and 0, but it'll be giving you selected and not selected. So we're here in SPSS. Let's say you want to import, for example, you didn't do copy and paste, you go to file, you go to open data, you can import the data you want, click on type of data, maybe SAS data, maybe Excel, maybe SPSS, and then you select from your options. Okay, for multiple choice data, once we've done this, we are ready for the analysis. So you click on analysis, multiple response. First thing you have to do is to define the variable set. These procedures are in the slides, and I'm sure that once I share them, you'll be able to appreciate them. So you want to analyze multiple responses for all of them. So you click on all of them, and then you use the arrow button, put them in the variables in set, and then counted value, you're essentially telling SPSS that the ones it should count or the ones you should take as positive or the ones it should consider are the selected, which you coded as 1. If you had coded them as 2, then it should be 2. If you coded as 3, it should be 3, and so on and so forth. Whatever coding you had used for the positive values, the ones you want eight spaces to count, you have to put it here. Then how do you want to call this? I want to call it fetch start. So this is a name, so you have to use an underscore topic. And once you do that, you add them to the multiple response sets. So you can add more than one, you can do more than one multiple response set, and you can even do a cross tab to know how the variables relate with each other. So for this example, we'll be doing a single multiple response analysis. So you click on close and not the X button. If you click the X button, this action might not be saved and you have to do it again. So you click the close button. And once you do that, click on analyze, multiple responses. You can see that these frequency and cross tabs were grayed at first, they were grayed. But now once you define variable sets, they are now clickable. So if you're doing a multiple response analysis, you can do a cross tab to see how the multiple response analysis relate with each other. But since we're doing a single multiple response analysis, click on frequency. And then we want to create a table for preferred start topic, and then you click OK. And then your output is showing. Please, could you let me know if the output is showing well for you? Can you see the outputs? Can you see the, okay, great. Yeah, because I'm sharing my entire screen to show. I just want to be double sure. All right, great, fantastic. So this is the output that you have. The table that is important is this table, but anyways, this one tells you total number of respondents. For this analysis, it's just 101. And then there are two, I'm not able to zoom. I wish I could. Let me see if, excuse me, see if I would see an option for, I'm not seeing it. So you see, there are two types of percent. We have percent of cases and we have percent, and I want to really show the dichotomy for them. So percent of cases, it tells you how many times descriptive statistics was selected in total. So this shows that descriptive statistic was selected 86.1% of the time. Or if you're considering excuse me. So it shows you that descriptive statistic was selected 86.1% of the time, meaning that of course one person or I mean multiple people took descriptive statistics and it kept happening for 86.1% of the time, compared to inferential statistics that was taken 84.2% of the time. So in contrast, percent tells you out of the 101 respondents, how many of them are interested in descriptive statistics? So it's just 33%. So it means that the other 71% didn't pick this option. So usually you can make a table out of this to summarize descriptive statistics. You could go with this percent, or you could go with percent of cases. It's usually advisable you make a table, or you can copy this table maybe to Microsoft Word. You can copy spatial as an image, it's a plain text, however you want to do it. Paste it in Microsoft Word and organize it the way you want to. All right, so I think that is the end of the session. So I'll just take I don't know if I should take the questions after the practical or We're going to do a practical analysis now. And okay, so can we start? Okay, we have a hand raised. I'm just going to take maybe one or two and then we start the practicals.
May I
Yes,
proceed?
please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. So I have two questions. The first one is related to the other categories. What if we would like to have an idea of these other responses of the participants of the survey, like the way you replaced the other responses by the other, like. And the second question is I didn't really understood the difference between the two percentages that SPSS can give give us to for the answer.
Could you please take the first question again?
This why we were categorizing the answers for the preferences of the participants. So you replace the other responses, like those different from descriptive statistics, inferential, and the last one. You've been replacing them with the expression other. Then what if we would like to just have an idea of those other responses that the participants uh, written down in like free text?
Okay, I think that's a very fantastic question. I'll tell you what I do. Let me just go back to the spaces and do something. Let me go to Excel. So usually for me, if I want to have an idea, because you see, if you realize that you have like a significant number of, I'm sharing the wrong sheet. If you realize that you have a significant number of other responses, you might want to make a standout or standalone category out of them. So you see, you have, let's say you have a good number of people that just taking the first 10 responses. So let's say you have a good number of people that are taking correlation. You might want to make it a standalone category. So you need to have an idea of how the variables are distributed and the common ones that you could maybe make a standalone category out of it. So, well, there are multiple ways to do that. And you could do that by physical examination, by just going through the data. That's why it's important that you expand your data, or sorry, expand the column to see all the possible options that could be there. And then you see that it's usually, they're usually organized together. For example, if you look at this, descriptive statistics always comes first, inferential statistics comes next, regression third. So you see the fourth option is always other. So it's easy for you to know those options that keep coming. I don't know if that is good enough. Otherwise, the other thing you could do is maybe to run a simple descriptive statistics on your data as it is in SPSS. So let me just do that. You could just copy this and take it to, see there's a lot of messages in chat box. You could copy, take this to SPSS and share this. I'm just going to paste the string. So you can see you can also paste string in SPSS. I can even do an analysis with it. So I'm going to analyze, do a simple descriptive, check the frequencies, and so you see the SPSS output will tell you, it will summarize the data, it will tell you those data that you need to see, those ones that are falling under the other category. I know that is an attempt, and I'm not sure it has responded very well to your question. Please let me know what you think.
Yes, it makes sense. Yes, thank you
What?
very much. It really makes sense. I really appreciate the answer.
Oh, okay. Okay. So,
Thank you.
for the second question, I will take it when we're doing the practical, please.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so I think it's already time, and if there are no questions, we're going to start the practical now. Okay, please, can we all, I'm going to share my entire screen. So we start everything from the scratch. So we all have a space installed, and we have Excel installed. We have stable internet connection, and we have the data set.
Data set.
Okay, let me see if I can attach the data set to the Zoom chat. I'm not able to do that. So I'm sorry. I don't know. Okay, but you see, someone can upload it in a Google in his or her Google Drive and share the link for us. So I think the majority of persons have it, so we can proceed. So I'm going to close everything about Spaces. It starts from the scratch.
Just a minute. The data could it not be sent to the email that announced the training?
Yeah, it was sent already.
Oh, but I didn't see it in my inbox.
So I think you have to check your email. You can check your spam as well. You can check your spam or promotions folder.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so this is the hello? Somebody speaking?
Yes. Teacher, is this training has certificate?
Let's see if someone could help us. Okay, I think people have shared in the chat box. So you could just click on it and download it. So this is your SPSS. Let me share my entire screen. Okay, submit. So I hope we will be doing this together. So my SPSS is already in my status bar, so I could just click it here, or let's say search it, and I have two SPSS versions. This is version 20. I click on it, it's opening, it's very easy. I'm believing that we should be doing that along, please. And then once you have opened in few seconds, this dialog box should show. And since we want to start from the scratch, we click on type in data and we click OK. And then we go to the Excel data sheets. We open the Excel data sheet. So you have to start with cleaning the data in Excel. So this is Excel and this is the data set. So we have 121 or 120 responses. Please, could you let me know if you have your Excel data sheet opened and you have your SPSS opened, please. Just let me know in the chat box. Great, fantastic. Fantastic, fantastic. It's view only, you have to, I think you have to download it and open it as Excel and not Google Sheet. So you have to download it and open it as Excel. Okay, so we have a very good number, which I think we can proceed. So the first thing that you have to do, or the first thing we have to understand is that this should come as this is coming as part of a large data set, meaning that there are other responses. You have gender, you have this, you have this, you have country, you have educational qualification, and so on and so forth. So what you need to do is pick the column that is for multiple choice response. By highlighting it, you click on A and you copy, and you can create a separate sheet for it. You can call it stats software used. And then you paste. And when you do that, you have to physically examine the data if it's in good condition. And like I said, if you use the other option and you have people indicating other softwares, you have to simply clean that up. You have to see how you can combine them as one. And like I said, I've been looking for a formula to do that, but I've not been very lucky to find it. So you might have to do it somewhat manually by just identifying those other options and then finding them and replacing them. So once you've done this, the next thing you have to do is copy the list of possible options that you have. So from your, please, can you see my Excel sheet?
Yes.
Okay, great. So from your Google form or, excuse me, okay. From your Google form, you collected this data. You collected a spaces, hours, data, Excel, and then there were people who indicated other. I mean, maybe, I don't think we had data here. No, I think we have Python instead. So I'm going to just close out Python. Close out Python, and then you have people who said none. So the first thing you have to do is you have to list out all the possible variables for that question. And when you do that, you copy, and you have to, what's the word for it? Transpose them, but that's convert them from column to rows. Oh, sorry, from rows to column. So you see, each response is a row on its own. So you have to convert that to column, and you do that by copying, and then you put it at B1. You right click or you go to paste spatial, and then you paste transpose. Yes, you see it moves the row-like distribution of the variables into a column-like distribution. So you have to be very sure that you've captured all the variables that you used in your data collection tool. So you have to, of course, check your data collection tool for all the variables that you used. So please, could you let me know if we have all transposed the data? How do I open it in Excel?
I'm sorry, I just logged in. Can you take that again?
How do you open what in Excel? Not sure I understand that question.
Hello?
Can you repeat it quickly? Okay. So first thing is that you type out
Hello, can you hear me?
variables, and then you copy.
Oh, geez.
You go to your cell B1, and under paste spatial, you click this
Hello?
arrow, brings out all these paste spatial options, and you click on transpose. Once you click on transpose, it converts the row-like distribution of the variables into a column-like distribution like this. I think I'm not sure I'll have to be repeating like this because we will not mix up with the time. But if this is a challenge, you can just type it. You can just type it as spaces R Python, and that should do the trick. So the next thing that you do is that you want to indicate if this person, this is the first respondent, if it took 8 spaces, it should be 1. If it took R, it should be 1. If it took Python, it should be 1. But this person didn't take Python, so it's a 0. This person took Excel, it should be 1. This person took other, it should be 1. This person didn't take none, it should be 0. So 1 means yes, the person selected it, and 0 means the person did not select. But you see, like I said, if you have to do this manually, it's a lot of work, and if you have a very large data set, it's not a smart way of working. Because of course it's very likely it's very prone to errors. So what you do, you have to use an Excel formula. Sorry, I'm going to take questions. Just a minute.
Could you
Somebody-
please mute if you are not the speaker? Thank you. Please mute. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is the Excel formula. This is a formula. You could actually type it, or no. You could type it, but I don't want to make a mistake. But let's say, let me put it in the chat box here, so you can just copy it and paste. It says if error, if find B $1, $A2. So I think we can have. So if you have that formula, you can paste it here, or you can actually type it. But because there are lots of parentheses, I don't want to make that error, you could as well just, copy and paste, and it does the trick. But you see, this formula works because this the first column is A, and the second column is B, right? And we're starting with cell B2. So if you are doing something different, let's say maybe you want to use H2, you have to edit that formula to reflect that. So where you have B, you put your H and maybe A2 or whatever be the case. But what the formula is simply saying is that you want, okay, I think I should just type the formula. That might be easy. So you say if error, you click on B1. You click on B1. Let's say if I wasn't copying and pasting, you type this formula and you click the if and find function. You click on B1. That's what you want to find, and you put a $sign after the B, and then you click on A2 where you want it to be found. Put a $sign before the A, and then you say if you find this thing, if you find, for example, SPSS in this column, give me 1. But if error, that's if you do not find it, give me 0. And you click enter. Please, could you let me know if we all have this one boldly written here? Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. So what you do now, you use this filler, you drag it to your right. It's going to fill the formula all through the row. And then because you want to fill the formula for the 120 or 1,000 or whatever number of responses you have, you drag it down. It's going to zoom out a little bit to be sure that, okay, so this is how it looks like. Now it's in red because the formula is in red, so it's just following the font style. You could just change it to whatever color it really doesn't. All right, please could you let me know if we all have this chat box? Someone said
Let's repeat the formula again, explaining the formula. If you find 0, put what?
okay, no problem. No problem. No problem. I'm going to do the formula. So let me see. Okay, maybe we should allow Ramson. Ramson, please go ahead.
Yeah, please, I think first type so that we see where did that Pharaoh come from?
I think somebody was about speaking. So I'm going to take the formula again. I think I should try typing it. Equals to if error. Click on it, and then if function, click on it. Somebody is saying something.
Yes, it's Ramson.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to question. I experienced something while doing the entering the formula. It appears is case sensitive. The formula is case sensitive. The variables SPSS, R, Excel, Python, and all that. I typed it with capital letters, and it was showing me error 0000. But when I now changed it to small letter, as it appears in the responses gotten from the participant, it gave me the correct answer. So I think that this thing is also case sensitive.
To be honest,
That's
I
the experience.
don't understand your question. But do you mean this formula being case sensitive or
No,
the
I mean
variables?
the variables, the one we transposed, the SPSS, R, Python, Excel, other, none. I was typing in capital letters. So after inputting the formula, I noticed it wasn't giving me the correct response.
No,
But
it
when I
should.
now change to the correct thing as it appears on the from the response, I got the correct answer. So I was asking if it is case sensitive.
I'm not aware of that. I mean, I'm not aware of it being case sensitive. So I think maybe the formula was not gotten right.
Okay, okay.
All right. So this
It's okay,
is
thank you.
if error find SPSS with a $sign after the B. You don't really have to learn the formula. I mean, if you want to, it's fine, but you could just copy and paste it and it could work. So where do you want the spaces to be found? Yeah, you want it to be found here. The $sign for the A and the brackets. If it finds spaces, what should it do? Put 1. Then if it doesn't find, put 0. Excuse me. Okay, you have to close the bracket here. If it doesn't find it, put 0 and then you click. Okay, so it works. So you are simply telling Excel, please find SPSS in this row. This row. Let me use my highlighter. Okay, good. So find SPSS in this row. And if you find any spaces in this row, give me 1. But if you don't find any spaces, give me 0. That's just what the formula is saying. So when you input the formula, you drag it across.
Okay.
And it's filled. How do you drag it? You pick your cursor to the filler, which is like the bottom right corner of the box, and you drag it. It will turn to a cross. You drag it gently across. So the same formula fills. So this one means that, hey, if you find Python here, give me 1. But if you don't find Python, give me 0. So it's the same thing.
Yeah, of which no Python was found in that
Exactly. So
column. Okay.
Python wasn't found there.
Yeah,
Okay, but
Excel was
just a
found.
question while you are there.
Yeah.
Is that realistic? In which sense now will you find data like that combined, like in column 2A? In which real situation? Why would things be like that?
Okay, sorry, come again.
Mm.
Sorry, take your question again.
No, what I'm saying is, because you said we are now analyzing that 2A to say if you find SPCSS, give me 1. If you don't find whatever, give me 0. Now, to real life situation, where would one find data like that? In now, let's say now you are sent maybe to go and do some survey somewhere. I don't make sense out of it. Where will you find data combined like that? Maybe you can just give me an example.
Oh yeah, this is this data we're using now is the registration information of the participants, you know, when we ask participants what statistical software they use. So it's also applicable
Okay.
yeah, it's applicable to any field. Let's say you want to know how many let's say you want to know people preferences when it comes to whatever
Maybe
research
type
you're
of
doing.
coffee that they like to drink, the coffee brand. Okay, now I get it.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I have a question.
Okay.
When you drag it, you can see Excel is reading 0, but there is Excel in the column.
Yes, I am just realizing that. Give me a second. Let me see if that error. Something is wrong with Excel. Something is wrong with Excel. I've just noticed that. Just a minute. Just give me a sec.
However, on mine, I copied and pasted from what she sent earlier. My Excel seems to be fine.
You can retype the Excel. I'm suspecting there's a space after Excel. That is why it is not giving you the right output.
Yeah, I think if you copy and paste, like some of us did, we don't have any issues with the Excel.
Okay, just a sec, please. I'm going to try that. I want to check something. I want to know where it is coming from.
Hello, please, can I speak?
I think it's from the spelling. Check the spelling.
Hello, can I speak?
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, please. I think the order is SPSS followed by R, then followed by Excel and not Python. The order was wrong. SPSS, R, Excel.
Sorry, just give me a minute. I'm going to sort that out.
Fortune,
But it's not supposed to
save
be
us
like that.
To save us time, retype Excel.
Okay,
So remember we did a
it's been
transposition.
corrected. It's been corrected. So maybe it's the spelling of Excel.
The spelling, yes.
Or
It's
maybe
the
there was an
spelling.
extra. Okay, I think I've seen the issue. So it's very, very dicey, and if you're not very careful, you cannot realize this. The spelling is correct, but there is an extra space after the Excel. So it is now reading Excel with a space and not just Excel.
I think that's the kind of experience I had that made me think it's case sensitive.
Exactly. So you have to be sure that the space is closed.
Yes, it must be typed exactly as it appears from the response.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it will not get.
And there should be no space, because it's possible you type something SPSS, for example, and you put a space. After that SPSS, it's going to read it as a separate data from SPSS without a space. So it's good for us to. I mean, I'm happy that even happened. It's good for us to take into that. Okay, so what we do now, we are going to drag it across and up to the end, and we have to do examination of maybe the first 10 rows. We show only SPSS, correct. SPSS, Python, Excel, correct. R, Python, Excel. So this is correct. This is correct. Please let me know if we have all gotten this.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Mine is still giving me 1 all through. It's not possible. It's not possible, please. There should be an error somewhere. other has nothing to do with it. Not sure I understand that. Can we do this coding directly with spaces at a level of variable? No, you know, Excel uses formula, and maybe I'm not aware, but I don't do formulas in SPSS. So SPSS can do this. I mean, to the best of my knowledge, it might be possible maybe with some, you know, advanced SPSS versions, but let's say I have not explored that. I am very comfortable with always doing the cleaning in Excel, using the formulas in Excel, then take it to your spaces. Okay, so the issue was not with the formula, it was actually with the Excel. I'm just responding to some of the questions. I'm struggling to follow from step one, could not do it. Mine is working, it's showing one through, it's still not working. Okay, we have a couple of positive and negative feedbacks. Let me see how much time we have. 30 more minutes. Okay, we can take questions. We can take questions, please. Laila, you can go ahead.
Okay. Hello. Hi, sir. Yeah, there
Please,
is
if you have
one
question, you can raise hand. Just raise
Mine,
your hand. Yeah. Okay. So, Laila, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. No, one participant said that it wasn't working, and I said you have to check the spelling. So mine first, it wasn't working. When you change the spelling, like other and you write others, then it will not work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's the spelling.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
And also it is case sensitive. I don't know if this is what the other person was saying. So if, yeah, let me just zoom in. If here you have spaces all caps, then it should also be all caps here. If it is R in caps, it should be caps here as well. And then it should be, it should just be exactly as it is here. Otherwise, if you are not presenting it like this, then you're likely to have errors. I'm just going to check. Okay.
Even if the first letter is capital and then the other one is not capital, it might also not recognize it.
Yeah, absolutely. Please, does Excel auto-generate copyable formula to run with? You have to know the formula and use the formula, then it works, then you can copy it. Yes, I don't know if I've responded to that question. So for me, I had to try the formula first and then I copied it. So what allows you to network issue? Yes, you can get the recording. I think it's an issue when changing. Okay, I think there are fantastic comments now. Mine is showing 1 only for SPSS and 0 for the rest. Please check the spellings and the capitalization. So it has to be perfect. What is the role of the dollar sign? Higher, to be honest, I'm not aware. I'm not sure. I cannot tell that, but of course, it's something I can look up.
Yeah, I think the role of the dollar sign is to be able to apply the formula to other columns and rows.
Yeah.
Okay. I think
If you don't put the dollar sign, it will only be limited to that particular shell that we enter the formula.
I think we can confirm that. Let me see. Okay, I'm not even sure the formula can work without the dollar sign, but so let's try. Let's try doing it without the dollar sign. See. Oh, it works.
It will only work for that column.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much.
That's true.
So it means the dollar sign helps you.
Yes, helps
Yeah,
to.
that's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much for that contribution. Okay, so I think we're all good. Everybody is happy now.
I think there are some questions in the chat box. Mr.
Okay, so I think we can proceed. So I've been able to attempt the questions. So from here, you can copy all this to spaces. Okay, I think I should use the import feature because I copied it the other time. So I'm just going to save this and I'm going to import it in spaces. So I had opened spaces already. I'm going to click file, I'm clicking open data, and then type of data is Excel. So I'm going to select, I think I have been too fast. So we are back in
Yes.
spaces and we want to import the data. Remember, you can copy and paste, but I'd copy and paste the other time. So I want to do the importation now. So we are in SPSS, so we click on file, click on open, we click on data, and then this will come up. And then you click on Excel. Oh, I'm not sure where I saved it. So I have to confirm where I saved my data. So documents, okay. File, open, data, change it to Excel. And then it's in my documents. It's arranged alphabetically. So I'll just go straight to what statistical software do you use. This is the data. So you click on that data, and then it shows you that, oh no, I'm importing the wrong data. They have the same name, so I have to.
So for me to import it, should the other file in Excel be open, or I can
No, it
find
doesn't have to be open. It doesn't have to be open. You just have to be sure of the
where it is. Okay.
Okay, I think this is it now. So it shows you that there are two sheets and you have to select the sheet that you're interested in because SPSS can only open one sheet at a time, unlike Excel. And then there's an option that says read variable names from the first row of data. So if you want SPSS to take the first row of Excel as the title of the column, you check this box. Otherwise, you uncheck it. But we want SPSS to do that. So we click on it. And then we click OK. So please, could you let me know if you have arrived at this stage? How can we access the recording? It will be shared. I'm not sure. Same thing with mine. Is there a certificate for the training? Okay, I just want to know, please, if you've gotten up to this stage. No, okay.
Yes.
Yes, I'm there. I'll just go over it again. Go to file, you go to open, data, and then you look for it. Oh, you have to change the data file because it's currently in SAF. SAF is the SPSS data format. So if you don't change it to Excel, all you'll be seeing will be SPSS data format, and no, you cannot find your data here, even if it's in your document folder. So you have to change it to Excel. When you change it to Excel, you look for it. It's arranged alphabetically. So you go to what starts to sample data, double click. The way you double click, you have to select the sheets. We are using the second sheet. So you select it, and then if this was not checked, check it, and then okay. Since I've opened it already, I don't have to click OK. So please let me know if you've been able to not forget about the formula. I will pass the formula now, but
Excuse me.
Yeah, I've shared it.
Hello,
Yes,
sir.
yes, please.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Please, I just realized that my own value under the first row where we have order is 0, while others are the same as yours. What could have been the problem?
I think you have to check the spelling, you have to check the capitalization, because it has to be the exact same thing like the variables in the options.
But every other variable here is correct except that one.
Okay, you have to check that there is no space after the word. For example, it's possible you type a spaces with a space. If you do that, it's not going to pick it up. So you have to click, if you're in Excel, you click on that, you click on the A spaces and remove or close the space.
Okay, I'll just do that. Thank you, sir.
Okay, fantastic. So you are here and you're ready to do the analysis. But then we have to recode the 1 and 0, because you see it's showing 1 and 0 and it's difficult. I mean, it's easy, it's better if we
please, I've not been able to change the
that we
format of my.
Well, I would not want to do that because it's going to take our time. So you click on, you can do your analysis either in the data view or in the variable view, it's the same thing. In the variable view, you can manipulate it as you want, like we did. Okay, let's just quickly do that together. For S spaces, you go to your values, 1, yes, and 0 should be no. Click OK. Please, we can do the values together, but if you cannot pick it, no problem. It will still work. It will still give the same results. All right, so 1, yes, 0, it's do it together. Doing it together, 1, it's a yes. 0, no. 1, it's yes. 0 is no. It's always important to recode the coded variables to something that we can make sense of. All right, so you see, if you go back to data view, and you click the value level, you could see that it changes to the alphabetic form, and you can change it back to numeric form, however you want to. So we can just go ahead with the analysis now. Click on analyze. You go to multiple response, define the variable set. What you need to do here, you highlight all of them. How do you highlight? You click the first one. You can do them one after the other anyways. Or if you want to make it quicker, you click the first one, hold shift, click the last one, and it highlights everything. Put in the variable set. And then if your counted value or your positive response was 1, you put 1, but if it was 2, you put 2. I think I am too fast, so I'm just going to hang on a little and check the chat box. How did you import the data? Instead of coding individual in the value column, we can code on the couple place or other set time, go faster. Very correct, very correct. So we see, I don't know if I should do that. It's fine, I believe they understand. Let me just show that quickly. So in the variable view, you can do this. You can just copy this. Oh, if you want to change, let's say you made an error and you want to change, you can just remove and correct it. Just a sec. I want to, so you can do this, do this. You can do this. You can do this. You can also do this and copy and paste it. Work. Too fast. I am floating out to finally worked.
1, 1, 0, 1.
Is somebody speaking?
Oops, sorry. I'm sorry, I'm the one. I got it. It's actually a spelling. I use the small case instead of the big case. Thank you.
Okay. Please, could you let me know if we are all here, because we are heading to the last stage of the class. How you define the variables. You go to the variable view and click on values. 0 for no, 1 for yes. Let me explain. It's not tuning in the data view after I finished. You have to go to the value levels up here and click on it.
Excuse me, sorry to take you back. I've just created my own data. I've created my own data since I don't have that, and I wanted now to put a formula. I forgot how to do it. But I have entered and I put also the y and the x nicely. Now I just want to do the data if 0 is equal to what? How did you do that again?
Oh,
In the
sorry.
Excel. Mhm.
Yeah, sorry, please, could you come again? I didn't get you.
Yeah, I'm saying that I'm sorry to take you back. I'm now in Excel. I've created my own data sheet. Now I want to say the formula of the names. What I did the name of students, and I want now to say if you know this name 0, if that name 1. So how do I do that formula again? In the Excel when you started.
Yeah, you use the formula. You use this formula. I think someone has posted it again.
Did I post it? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so I think we're good now. So we go to analyze, multiple response, define variable set, pick, highlight all the variables, put in the variable set, and then counted value is 1. Then name is start software used at. Please let me know if you've been able to do this. You highlight everything here, put in the variable set, counted value 1.
Please come again, sir.
Okay, I would close this. You go to analyze, multiple response, define variable set. You highlight all the variables, put the variables set. The counted value is 1, because that's what we use for the positive values, or the ones that selected that option. Then you name it stats to used. Then you add it to the multiple response set. Let's check in the chat box now. Okay, somebody has finished. So we close. Oh, yes, we close. So once you've done that, you go to multiple response. You'd see that the frequency that was great before is now selected. And you click on frequency. And then this multiple response set, you put it in the table. And then you click OK. please let me know if you are here.
Please, after creating the multiple response sets that tool used, what's the next step again?
Okay, you go to analyze multiple response. After you've defined the variable sets, right? You go to analyze multiple response, then frequencies. Then if you come here, if you go to frequency, you'd see, let me show that. Oops, not showing. So let me show it to you. Analyze multiple response. Frequency. This you want to create a table for this. So you click OK. Please let me know if you've been able to do it now.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, so this is the output that we see. Please let me know if you've gotten this output. Should be done in the next 5 minutes, please.
Sorry, please, I want to know what's the role of the counted value? Like, and why is our own one?
It's because we coded it that way. Those that selected a particular software, we coded it as 1. So those that didn't select as 0. It means that SPSS will only count the ones and will ignore the zeros. So if you had coded those that selected the service as 2 or 3 or whatever be the case, you have to put that value where you have that counted value.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, so this is the output. See if I can, I think a majority have come here now. I didn't get my, what happens if the frequency stage, please? At the frequency stage, analyze multiple choice. Okay, I'll just take it one more and then we read the results. So I think that should be enough time for everybody to follow through, please.
Then another topic asking the total weight.
Put the data. Hello, Mr. Cotton.
Yes, please.
Yes, I said somebody asked if there is any smart way to input the values
If there is what?
automatically. A smart way to input the values
Please, which
automatically.
values? Which values?
I think their data set into the software.
I'm not sure I understand that,
Uh-huh.
but is it a smart way of
Luca, you
imputing?
can ask your question. I think the question is from Luca. If Luca is
If
still
it's a
on.
smart way of imputing these variables, then yes, of course, that's what we did with the formula.
Okay.
Yes. So I'll take it once, we'll analyze multiple response, frequency. I've done this already. So I have defined the variable set already. Put it here, create a table for it, and you click OK. So this is what you have. So there are 2 ways you could report this, as percent or percent of cases. This percent of cases is for your respondents, whereas the percent is for the variable. So the percent of cases tells you the percentage of respondents using space instead of typing. I should understand that. So the percent of cases tell you the percentage of respondents that are using that software. Then the percent tells you the software itself, the representation, how well the software is voted. So let's say you have 30.8% for SPSS and 36.9% for Excel, 100%. It shows you that Excel has been picked 36.9% of the time. Then for percent of cases, it's now on the respondent, not about the software. Tells you that 65.8% of the respondents are using Excel, or they have used Excel before. Then 55% of the respondents have used SPSS before. So percent is for the software, and the percent of cases is for the respondents or the study participants. So I think, I'm not sure there is. So all these are in my slides, including the procedures for running all the commands, and I'm happy to share them later. Okay, so thank you very much. I think we've had a very fantastic session, and I'm going to take one. I'm going to take questions. We have 5 more minutes, so I can take 1 or 2 questions, and then I can hand it over to our coordinator. How do we transfer it to final paper? Please permit me to quickly do that. Let me open my Word. Just a sec. Going to quickly show us how we can transfer it to a paper. But it's always recommended that you don't copy it as it is. Just click on the table. You can copy special as a plain text, or you can just copy it as it is, as a table. You go to your Word and you paste. So when you paste, there are options in your Word to edit the table. I don't know if you can see my Word screen now. Yes. So you click here, you change the design however you want it. Whatever color, however you want to manipulate it. You manipulate it, and then you have to edit this because it is in the paper. So, and you have to decide which of them you want to use, or if you want to use both of them. It's allowed to use both of them or one of them. It depends on what you want to discuss. So if you want to, if you want to emphasize on people preferences, both of them make sense anyways. You could use either of them. So you could report both of them, or you could report one of them. It gives you the same kind of information. So you can see Excel is leading in both the percent and the percent of cases column. Of course, you have to remove this and adjust it as you want. So that's it. That's a lot of hands. Let me see. I don't know if we have questions.
Excuse me. Thank you. Sorry. What if you don't want your answer in frequency, like you wanted descriptive?
So you want it in what?
Like descriptively. I don't know.
Then you just select descriptive. I did mine.
Okay.
There is what?
Like, I mean, if you don't want your answer as frequency in frequency form, you need descriptive form.
Descriptive form, when we are looking at, okay, you want the numbers, the numerical value, if it's 10, if it's 20 or 30.
Yes.
It's there, but it's only available, I think, for, excuse me, it's there, we can see it here. But this is only for percent. This is only for the software. So it's telling us that SPSS was voted 66 times, out 20 times, and so on and so forth. Okay, I don't know how much time we have. Dr. Nayo, please, what do you think? How many questions can we take? We have 1 minute.
Maybe like 2 days.
Sorry, come again.
So let's take the 2, then we try to handle. Take other aspects.
Frequency under descriptive hypercode.
We have matter. Mr. Fortune, are you ready to take questions?
Yes, please.
Okay, matter, followed by Chidie Bube and Ona Ezekiel. Thank you. Matter, you have the floor.
Okay. Sorry, let me take, there's a question somebody
in the chat box
asked. Okay, Martha, go ahead first. I'm sorry. Just go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for the discussion. I appreciate. So I was wondering, I'm having some challenge in applying. So I have a topic that I'm handling, and it's more of malnutrition and factors associated with the first trimester pregnancy. And now my outcome variable, I'm using the parameter as MWAC. So am I going to use the same way of this multiple response to go about the analysis? Am I going to apply the same thing to analyze my data?
Sorry, what did you say is the topic?
Pardon?
Sorry, what did you say is a variable you're interested in the topic?
Okay, I'm saying the parameter that I'm using to grade the malnutrition is MWAC, whereby I have 3. There are 3 outcomes. They are either nourished, malnourished, or overnourished. So am I going to use this same option to analyze my data and including the factors? Am I going about it in this similar way?
It depends. When you say nourished, malnourished, is it possible for, I don't think, it's not possible for one to be both nourished and malnourished. So one cannot select more than one option, yeah? Yes,
that's right.
Okay, so you can't use this. You can just do a simple descriptive statistics. You can just, if it's nourished or malnourished, you just do a descriptive statistics, do the frequency, and then you don't need to go through the process of converting them to variables on their own like we did. It's just a very simple descriptive statistics. So I think somebody was asking a question. I now understand the question. You could do a descriptive statistics of them to know each of them, how many people selected and how many didn't select, by just going to analyze descriptive statistics, frequencies, put them all here, click OK, and then you see how the SPSS output looks like. I think somebody responded in the chat box and I was able to understand what the person was saying. Right.
Okay,
so,
can I just ask one more, please?
Oh, sure, no problem.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So on this outcome, there was where I was told that when your outcome, when your outcome is above a percentage of 15%, like say my malnourished mothers, the percentage is above 15%. I don't know how to analyze on the bivariate level. It's my challenge, yeah? So do we use binary regression or which type?
Sorry, you want to know, let's say you are trying to understand the prevalence of malnutrition in a particular population, right?
Yes, and I've got a percentage, it's about 15%. So how am I analyzing it at bivariate level? Like, yeah.
For you to have gotten percentage of 15%, it means you've done the descriptive analysis already. The bivariate analysis is it's a type of predictive analysis. You can do a binary logistic regression, but it is more predictive. It is telling you what is the odds of someone getting malnourished if the person has so and so characteristics. Let's say if the person is living in a rural area, what are the odds of getting malnourished? Or if the person is above 30 years, what are the odds of getting malnourished? And that's like a different type of analysis on its own.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, no problem, no problem. Dr. Neo, please, do we have any other question, or should we
Yeah,
take
we
it?
have two. Chidebube, do you still
Yes,
have
ma'am.
this?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I tried to apply it immediately to a data set I'm working with. So I was looking at hypertensives and took data on the medications that they use. So some people use calcium channel blockers, diuretics, and all of that. So I just want to ask how I can apply this to that data set, because I quickly went to create what's it called now, a multiple response set and all of that, but I don't know how to interpret that that table that we got when we analyze. What I want to know is how many of them were using only one, how many were using two, and which one were they using? Can I do that using this method that you have explained to us? So can I know at a glance how many patients were only on calcium channel blockers, how many were on, on two or three or none?
Okay, you see, you can do that, you can get that, as long as they could choose more than one option, then you can follow this same pathway and you can interpret that. So you see, from here, I could tell that out of 120 persons, 66 of them have used SPSS before, and 54 of them have never used SPSS before. And I could also tell that 20 of them have used R and 100 have not used R. So if you run a simple descriptive of all the variables, you can look at them on an on individual variable basis to know how well or how often a particular tool or whatever you're measuring is being used. Please let me know if I've been able to attempt that question.
No, what I mean is, can I know the combinations in terms of 20% use both as SPSS and R, for example, or use both diuretics and calcium channel blockers. Another 15% used only one of them or combination, like that. In combinations, is it possible?
I think you have to create combined variables from the point of data collection. So if you have calcium blockers, you have this, you have this, you have to have variables that are combined from the point of the data collection.
Okay, so can you just explain how to understand that table that showed percentages and then percentage, the other percentage, what was it? That when you analyze the multiple
just going to share it again. Sorry. Dr. Neo, please let me know when I have to stop. This is the number
I
of...
think we should round off in the next
Okay.
10 minutes, max, because this is, we are like 10 minutes past the normal time.
So once in a while, they tell me how
But we
they
still have owner Ezekiel.
Yes, ma'am.
pay me big money.
Good afternoon, sir.
Can owner Ezekiel ask?
Okay, good afternoon, sir.
Ezekiel, go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you very much for the wonderful work. Now, my question is for the formula. Is the formula constant? For instance, if you code it to be 2, will you still use the other formula or you change the formula?
The formula
Did you
is
get
not,
the question, sir?
Yes, I got the question very well. The formula is not
thank you, sir.
constant, and it essentially depends on the position of the columns and the rows. So this formula I'm using works if all the responses are in A column, and you want to start producing the new variables in the B columns.
I'm with you, sir.
So if let's say you want to start, let's say this descriptive that is here, you want to start it here in differential, the formula won't work. You have to edit that formula to reflect that this is a position of the variables now. So that's the only thing that should change in the formula. Otherwise, every other thing should work very well.
We want to discuss something. Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, no problem. So I think I was on a question. Let me see if I can briefly. So this is the output. For this, you can tell the individual percentages of each of the tools. Hello? But for this table, this tells you the number of people who picked, number of times SPSS has been voted out of all the people that responded to this chat. Whereas this tells you the percentage of cases, this is for the individuals or the respondents. It tells you the percentage of respondents that voted for SPSS. So let's say in your example of calcium blockers, I didn't get the other things, but you know, this 55%, this 55% can tell you the percentage of people who are taking calcium blockers. But it's different from this because this tells you the number of times calcium blockers has been voted. So it's possible that it's possible that 2 people might take calcium blockers, but that is graded as 1 for the percent column.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think I get it.
Okay, Ramsey, I'm giving you few minutes, please. Hello, Ramsey.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
And that's the last question.
Yeah, I can hear you, please.
It's not a question. It's just a contribution to the question that Chidebube asked. I think if we look at the last analysis we ran, that is just the descriptive statistics frequency. If you look at the frequency table, I think that may also help. We can look at the frequency table. No, the first table, the first frequency table before we start seeing it. I think that will help to answer her question.
Yes. So it breaks each of the items down to tell you what how many people voted for.
Not even that one. Go up. The other table. There is another table, frequency table, before these ones, one after another.
This right?
Maybe you don't have you don't have the one I have. Can you please rerun the analysis, that descriptive analysis frequency? There is a general one it brought out in my own.
This is it. It's showing
descriptive
frequency. Yes.
No.
No, just run it. Just run.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that is coming out. It's just running summary and tables for each of them.
Okay, but there is another one I'm seeing in mind. After running, it had to break down this thing. The people that said only Excel, it will write like mine is saying 22. Then you have people who said Excel and others, 3 persons. Then you have people who said only none, 17. It has people who said
Yes,
none
that's the
and
kind of
others.
thing I'm looking for.
I think that descriptive analysis alone helps to show that. I wouldn't know why it's not appearing in your.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Hello, sir. Go to descriptive analysis, frequencies, then under statistics.
Okay, you go to crosstabs, right?
No,
Is
I
this
didn't
what you
use
mean?
crosstab.
Can we follow what the other guy is telling you? You are too fast also. Just follow what
Okay.
the gentleman is saying, and then we
Okay.
also arrive at the same.
Analyze descriptive statistics, frequency. Yeah, then you select or include the other one, include this other one. Yes, include that one. That one will give you what we are looking for. This is what I'm looking for. Yes.
Okay. Is this what you are looking for, Chidebube?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is good.
I think so, yes, because this gives a different combination.
Yeah, yes.
You see, but you can't really make so much so much sense from this, because this for instance, if you have SPSS R Excel and you have SPSS sorry, just a sec. Okay, I think this is what they are looking for. This is what they are looking for.
Yeah.
It tells you how many people pick only Excel and other.
Yes, exactly. And you can even draw
yes.
a graph with that one.
Okay, fantastic. It's okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much for the contribution.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. We are coming to the end of the session. I'll call on Mr. Fortune. Thank you for your time. And thank you everyone for your contribution. I call on Dr. Zaina. You have one or two things to tell us before we move to Professor Keria for the closing remark. Dr. Zainab, you have
Thank
the
you very
floor.
much. Thank you, Dr. Aneyo. I think everybody will agree with me when I say Mr. Fortune Effiong has done a great job. I have been sipping water. I don't know how he hasn't taken time to sip water. So thank you so much. You've done such a great one. And if you could just put applause emojis in the chat box to appreciate him for his effort, for the impact he's made, that would be really appreciated. And also to our participants, without you, we wouldn't be here. Thank you very much. And of course, to the coordinators who work tirelessly behind the scene to put this together. We appreciate you too. Having said that, for those who are on the Nigeria Hub WhatsApp forum, we can continue the conversation from there. If you're not on the forum, whichever forum you heard this from, you can post a request to join. Unfortunately, we're almost at capacity, but if we get people who drop out here and now and again, so you can keep posting the request until you manage to get in. There's so much, we share so many resources. Learning never stops. And once again, let me say thank you. And then from the discussion on the WhatsApp group, we will keep you posted on our next event. So please keep an ear out. Thank you so much, everybody. I will hand over back to Dr. Aneyo Idowu now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you. Now I call on Professor Keria to give us the closing remarks. Prof, you have the floor now.
Thank you, everyone. I do not know where to start, but I have to start definitely somewhere, because I am really very excited, distinguished participants, colleagues, students, friends from over the world. What an enriching session, like Dr. Zainab had said. On behalf of the Rising Scholars National Research Hub Nigeria, I sincerely, wholeheartedly thank you all for your active participation, the enthusiasm and commitment you show throughout is even the bomb, both during the presentation and hands-on exercises that we had. Today's workshop on basis of statistical analysis with SPSS handling multiple choice data has equipped us with practical skills that are not only crucial for our research work, but also deepening our confidence in data analysis and interpretation, which is very important. That's why the facilitator today said, without statistics, we go nowhere. We are still jokers. The knowledge shared today, you can agree, from the theoretical insight to the practical demonstration, is a strong foundation for all of us to build on as we continue to grow as researchers and scholars. I would like to extend a heartfelt appreciation to one of us who also has served today as a facilitator, Mr. Fortune Effiong, for the clarity, for the patience, for the expertise he had demonstrated in guiding us through this session. As we wrap up now, I encourage all of us to keep practicing. Do not dump what you have written down or files you have saved today. Do not dump them anywhere. It shouldn't be one of the archives. Keep practicing, keep exploring, keep applying these tools to your work. Remember, mastery, they say, comes with continuous learning and engagement. So we must continue to learn and engage. So for those of us who are in the Nigerian Hub, most of you are in the WhatsApp group or the Telegram group. Let us stay connected, support one another, and continue striving for excellence in our respective fields. Even for the foreigners, you can also join us. We are happy that you always come. Thank you once again for being part of today's success that we have recorded at Rising Colors National Research Hub, Nigeria. I wish us the very best as we get back to activities for today. And we look forward to seeing you at our future events. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Sorry, I have shared my, thank you very much, Dr. Ikeria.
Thank you.
I've shared my link on the chat box. Please feel free to follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you very much.
Mr. Fortune, also share the social media link for the Rising Scholars National Hub.
Okay, great. I'll send it across.
Okay, bye everyone.